Prior to the municipal election on October 1st, a professor at UAF discussed the outlook of a much larger race that some might describe as looming. That is the presidential election. Starting things off, the audience was asked who they thought would take the White House, with a majority giving the leg up to Vice President Kamala Harris. From that point forward, Dr. Amy Lovecraft, a professor of political science, went on to explore the data and history of presidential elections and what that might mean for 2024. This included an exploration how and why the United States was founded, as well as recent voting trends. One of those trends being how voters themselves are targeted.
People who were pure independents tended to not vote. Once you scratch the surface, most people who claim independent first time will tell you they lean. And anyone who's an independent who leans generally can be counted on to vote. This is how parties will strategize, right? Trying to reach those people. But people who are absolute independents, in fact, tend not to vote.
Until the 21st century, there had been more Democrats than Republicans, according to the Pew Research Center. Today, there are more independents than Democrats or Republicans, but only about 10% of those independents lean towards one of the parties. In other words, independents that vote and independents that lean are the group that politicians target during elections. While members of both parties do change their vote, registered members for both Democrats and Republicans are about even right now. There's also been a rise in voter turnout in recent years, but since the turn of the century, the Electoral College and the popular vote have not been synchronized. In part, this is because the people voting have been inconsistent, with only 30% of eligible voters voting consistently.
So Harris, simply by being really different, has generated a degree of excitement. It doesn't mean that people are going to go out switching parties necessarily, but it may draw that turnout, right? That little extra bit of excitement, in particular for younger voters, may bring them out and have them casting their votes to her.
Despite some data pointing towards Harris as the winner, Lovecraft said she would, quote, not bet her child's life on it, end quote.